it with me over here so I can.
Oh, I still got to tag you, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to share it on.
Yeah. Hey guys, so we have started the official live process, and for those of you who watch us every week, know that the opening ritual is the ceremonial sharing of the lives. So bear with us as Michael and I both figure out how and where to share this to as many places as possible. As soon as you're with us, the best thing that you can do to help us out is to share it as well. Isn't that right, Michael? I think I lost him. So here, let me tag Michael. Okay, I'm going to start sharing it myself.
Okay, I don't know if you were saying anything while I was doing that, but I had you on quiet.
I was, but it wasn't anything important. You know, I'm full of it at all times.
All right.
Let me, I'm going to try Instagram again. I wish there was a more convenient way to do it. There's no good workaround. I literally have my phone sitting in front of the computer so that it can be live on Instagram. Let's see. I mean,
I see you.
What people do.
You've what you could glean from being black adjacent black folk is that's the equivalent of putting the new TV on.
Exactly. Somebody told me they did this. I don't remember who it was, but it was somebody like not small time. And I was like, okay, well, if that's what we're doing. So
you should have just asked Charles Hayes since he's on. Hey, what's going on there, Charles Hayes?
I sent Charles Hayes the link. Charles Hayes knows anytime he wants to pop in, Charles Hayes is welcome.
No, I'm saying you should have called him. He could have given you a crack to your situation.
That's a good question. Charles Hayes, you know everything. Is there any way that I can put the show on Instagram that isn't a bootleg method or a jackleg method? Right now, my phone is on a stand,
his iPhone right in front of the computer.
In front of the computer, because that's the only way I know to get it on Instagram. What's up, Todd? You've been missed the past couple weeks. Y'all know Todd is my dude.
Going on, Phipps?
Go ahead, Michael.
I just said, what's going on, Phipps?
Yeah. Todd's good, people. Hey, anybody who's watching on Instagram, just know if you want to like really participate, join us on Facebook or YouTube. Either of those is where the real show is.
Lundholm is on.
Yeah, he is supposed to be popping in at some point.
Oh, we're gonna meet him in person finally.
Yeah, this is about as in person as it gets in a pandemic. How do I share?
Well, the only other option is death. Oh, hanging a little before heading to rehearsal. Oh, okay, Todd. Yeah, okay, all right, man.
Who's rehearsing tonight, Todd?
Yeah, and what songs are y'all playing?
These are all important questions.
Well, I mean, you know, politics change, music don't. If music is your life, politics is transient.
So,
I guess I don't know if he's going to answer us. Are we still in the pregame?
Yeah, we're still in the pregame. I haven't done the official introductions yet. I'm still doing some sharing. I'm trying all the new things. I'm trying to be on Instagram and I'm gonna try to share it on LinkedIn too. You know, Maiya's been publishing LinkedIn real heavy.
Oh, well, yeah, right on. I was watching her. I was gonna watch it in real time, but I think I had a late afternoon nap and I slept through the Maiya's Monday moment. So I went back and watched it around like 11 that night.
You didn't have rehearsal Monday, or it was after that?
This week, I decided to try something different. I was gonna go out of town with my homie Young Rye, and Oh, you met young Rye.
I know where I am. Yeah.
Yeah. We were going to go up to the family cabin and work and, BS and just kind of man time, I guess. But so I was moving the Soul Asylum rehearsal schedule around a little bit because we were originally supposed to do the streaming event on the 3rd, I think it was, the 3rd of October. And but schedules weren't lining up, and I was trying to get out of town because I need 3 or 4 days to just do something or nothing. And I figured my wife could use a break, just from me in general, because I'm not no easy win to be hanging around.
Well, y'all have been in the thick of it. I mean, how many times have you left the house since the pandemic started?
Well, I mean, only for rehearsal, and that started probably in mid-August, maybe. So, we've learned a lot of songs that we decided not to use, and added some that some people thought that maybe our fans would appreciate more, and so it's been an undertaking, but we're kind of there now. We're cranking the screws down at this point, because the streaming event is going to be on Saturday, October 10. And you can find out all about it on www.soulasylum.com if you want to get tickets or you want to see what it's about.
Wow.
There's merch there also.
So we better start the official introductions because I don't think you can see it because I got the important StreamYard screen, but one of our scheduled drop-ins and one of our surprise drop-ins is already here waiting to be put on the screen.
Well, put them on there.
Well, I want to do the introductions first since it's classic. So
I want to see.
You want to see? Okay, well we'll switch the protocol and we will add.
Oh, well, all right. Oh, look out, it's Jeria.
Hey, Jeria. Hey, Zee.
Hello, Zee.
Hey.
Good evening.
So we already have some drop-ins already. Zee was scheduled. Yeah. Jeria was not, but she, we're always glad to see her.
Absolutely.
Have you guys shared the live feed yet?
I have shared it. I've shared it. I've shared it. If any of you guys are interested, there's a group here on Facebook that's they mostly talk about race relations, and it's breaking down different barriers. So I'm trying right now to share that to them and invite them in on this conversation because I feel like it's going to be really good.
Uh-oh.
What's the name of the group?
Let me double check.
Okay.
I want to be sure. I think it's called Breaking Barriers.
Okay. So you guys, whoever's watching may notice I'm not using headphones tonight. So let me know if there's any difference in the audio, and that's so I'm trying. If you missed it, I'm trying to go on it live on Instagram too, and my method is very bootleg. My phone is over here.
Oh, and you going ghetto.
It's very ghetto.
You going old TV with the new TV on top of it.
Yep, that's the only thing I can figure out. So so let's do the introductions, and then we'll introduce the people that have dropped in already, and we can start the conversation. So
all right,
ladies and gentlemen, ranked by several modern drum publications as the best drummer on the planet, and one of my favorite people to discuss anything with. Best known for his work with Prince and Soul Asylum, but so much more than that as a musician and as a person. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Bland. I did it right on the first time, too. I pointed the right time.
You did it. And when I get ready to do it, I want to do that right there. Hail from Madison, Wisconsin. The powder keg of the nation is adjacent to Madison, Kenosha, Milwaukee. Y'all got it all. You number one. You living in a powder keg there, Dan Spiffy Neuman.
It is not going well in Wisconsin these days.
No, but you rebellious. You a street fighting man. You got attitude. You got a wide vocabulary. You not easily talked down or back. A true champion for the cause. Holy Ghost organ playing, guitar chanking, not scared of black folks, more afraid of white folks. Dan Spiffy Neuman, ladies and gentlemen.
Chris is he? Well, no, there's Chris. I was thinking, is Chris here?
Oh yes, all right. We got a party.
Let me try to figure out. Now we've never had 5 people before.
That's all right. I'll go
like
behind the sign. Just put me up there.
So that's probably the best one.
Well, don't do that to Zee. Put her in the middle. I'll go on there.
I don't. Who's going in the middle?
Put Zee in the. Put her where I'm at, and put me where.
Okay, let me see if I can figure out how to do that. That's as close as it's gonna get.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jeria is diminutive, so like you can see my big old head right behind that MUSiPOLiTiX logo. So
Jeria might be diminutive in size, but wait till she starts talking.
What I'm saying is, at least we'll be able to see her mouth moving. With me, it's gonna be all forehead.
So real quick, because the only I think we've obviously met Jeria before, and if you're a regular viewer of the show, then you know Chris because Chris has commented on a lot of the episodes. Zee is a reviewer of the show and has commented on some of the episodes, but I want to just kind of shout out as to why she was specifically invited on this one, and then we can figure out what we talk about first because we got a lot of people here already.
Well, it sounds like Zee's already. She's go ahead, Zee. Just open the floor. You said she.
So we remember, Michael, we were going to do an episode with Joel about the intersection with race relations and the church and things of that nature. And right around the time we were doing that episode, Zee, who was a music director, I believe, at a predominantly white evangelical church, was fired for speaking out about Black Lives Matter type stuff. And so she was going to come on Joel's episode and talk, and we were going to talk with Joel about what happened to her.
Oh, that's right.
And that got postponed. So, so I told her we'd still have an opportunity for her to have a platform, you know, and talk about what happened. And I think that might be a great way to start the conversation with Chris and with Jeria as well. I think everybody here. Chris is a musician and involved in church. Jeria is involved in politics and involved in church. So, I mean, I think that might be a great way to open it up. So if you want to go ahead, Zee, you can have the floor.
Well, my name is Zee Johnson. I'm originally from Houston. I reside in a place called Conroe, Texas. Well, the Woodlands, Texas, which is in between Houston and Conroe. So it's a suburban area. I was serving at a church in Conroe, and George Floyd died, and it broke my heart to continuously watch the videos. And because I was a worship leader / MD at a local church here with about 200 or so members, a lot of my friends and people that I met along the way were also worship pastors, and they served in very prominent roles in the music departments at their church. And what broke my heart was I worshiped with these people. I played with these people. I had dinner with these people, hung out with these people, and nobody had anything to say. And that made me angry because here I was thinking we're all supposed to be children of God. And so I posted on Facebook, I said, you know, you should not take tithes and offering from people that you cannot advocate for. Yeah. And literally 12 hours after I posted that, the pastor of Cardman Church called me and asked me not to ever come back on campus again.
Oh boy.
And I was the interim worship pastor. I was second in authority to the pastor when it came to over 25 volunteers. So it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks because they immediately chose a side. And it only added fuel to my fire. And I wasn't even talking about the church that I was serving. I was talking about my community. my community of praise and worship leaders who are predominantly Caucasian and served in multicultural churches where other cultures besides Caucasian people made up their demographic, and nobody had anything to say, personally or privately. Literally, there are 77 churches in a 30-mile radius of my home. Only 2 worship pastors reached out to me during the time of all this social injustice uproar. And of course, I'm one of very few. I don't know any other Black women that serve in the capacity that I've served at churches in a decision-making position. I have never met them. I was kind of a maverick holding the position that I had. And I was absolutely floored by his decision. I was absolutely floored by his 9-minute conversation where he wouldn't admit to any fault. And that church, Carbon Church, still has yet to show some sort of solidarity with anyone who's faced any injustice. And my ideology as a Christian is to speak for people who cannot speak for themselves. That is our mission. Our mission is to get people to heaven and advocate for people who cannot advocate for themselves. To me, that's what a Christian does. And I was just plainly speaking on the lack thereof when it came to leadership, holding my brothers and sisters who served in the same capacity as me accountable. And I've had some of everything. I've had people showing an amazing amount of support for me. And I've had people that were members of churches that I've served at call me and tell me they were happy that I got fired. So I've had the kind of the gamut of everything. And I know that they were wrong. And I know that they don't speak for every Caucasian evangelical. I understand that. But I'm so glad that it happened, because now there's a line in the sand. And you have to stand on the side of right. Doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, because I know Black people who are Republicans and I love them dearly. It doesn't matter if you're white and you're a Democrat, because I know those people and I love them dearly. Doesn't mean I agree with every aspect of everything. But as a Christian, should be on the side of people who cannot speak for themselves. And right now that happens to be Black people. And it has been Black people for over 50 years. And that's the thing that I'm sad about, is that we continuously pour our gifts and our resources and our accolades and our accomplishments into creative departments of predominantly white churches. And they don't see us equally. They don't cherish us as children of God. We're tools, just like we are in secular commercial society. And that's the part that breaks my heart. That's what I want to change. And hopefully talking about it, it will open up the avenue for other people to talk about it and be honest about it. And if you serve at a church like that and they cannot advocate for you and your life mattering just to matter, you should leave that church and find somewhere where you're welcome and cherished as a child of God. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Well said. Well said.
Anybody want to respond to her, since we have a
if I may, because my experience first of all, I appreciate you, Ms. Johnson. That is, you did what was right. You did what was right biblically. You did what was right as a Christian. You did what's right as a human being. So I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
The sad fact of the matter is, reality has been shown now. Like white evangelical America, they worship a false idol. They worship money. They worship their own bizarre nationalist pride. And the amount of, listen, the Bible is clear about this. We are not to worship anyone other than God and his son, Jesus Christ. That's it. Like, we're not supposed to be nationalists. We're not supposed to be into prosperity ministries and Creflo Dollar and this, that, and the other. So the fact that we're confronting now the reality, and I mean, I appreciate the irony of a white man who, I play guitar. I got saved in a Black church. My story maybe me and Mr. Neuman could talk about some of our church experiences as white men who spend, at least I mean, I don't mean to speak for you, man. I spend all my time in black churches, so I'm kind of the negative of where you're at. But the fact of the matter is, what you did was you laid bare the reality that we have a situation in America right now where these people are fine with the subjugation of black people. Not only are they fine with it, they encourage it, support it, encourage it, and continue it, because their power rests within that dynamic and that power dynamic. So as you said so eloquently, listen, black people, they take your gift, they take your anointing. These, Rod Parsley, I'm sure you saw when that cat came through with his, trying to sing like a black pastor thing, and he clowned himself, and then he's all about being, Black Lives Matter, it's all lives matter, this type of nonsense. So what's happening, in my opinion, from where I stand as a musician in the black church, is that we're seeing laid bare the reality that these people do not worship Jesus Christ, who said, if you claim to love a God who you have not seen, but you don't love your brother who you have, a God who you have not seen, but your brother who you have seen, you're not of God. Like, that is a fact. We are taught that specifically. Those people are interested in their own power and the continuation of their own power. So, I mean, you are more than right. You did what's biblically correct. You did what's morally and ethically correct. And I stand with you in that. You did absolutely what was right, and God knows you'll find there's going to be a church that's going to be happy to have you, come through to Lombard, Illinois, to Renew Church where I'm at, because my pastor's the one. He'll let you know. He's going to be with you. But I appreciate you doing that. It needed to be done. That conversation needs to be had, because everyone's so afraid of being real about this. Is called idolatry. Don't mince words. This is exactly what we're dealing with. These people don't care about God. They care about their own power and their own nationalist ideology, whatever bizarre way they came to it, straight up. So that's my 15 cents on that.
Right. Hello, Chris Lundholm.
Yes, sir.
Jeria, you have anything watch out.
We finally figured out how to get there were some technical difficulties with the judge, but she's here.
Judge Dominique. Blessings. We blessed all the way around this evening.
Hey.
So I guess we should probably do some introductions, since we have people from so many different walks of life here. We introduced Zee. So Jeria is a Biden and Harris campaign staffer from Wisconsin, who also goes to my church, since we're talking about church.
That's my church. You go to my church.
I go to her church, sorry. Judge Dominique Collins is a criminal judge from Dallas, Texas, and also was a district attorney, I believe, a prosecutor, and in the Air Force.
Right.
And if you missed her episode last week, I know a lot of people didn't watch last week because of the debates, and we can talk about the debates later. But you really missed out missing her episode. She is incredible, and we'll. And then Chris Lundholm, who already kind of introduced himself, it came to us actually through our first episode. I can't remember how exactly he found us, but he found us through the first episode, and he's been a great friend of the show ever since. So hopefully everybody knows each other now. Anybody want to follow Chris?
I can go.
Okay, Jeria.
Zee, I just want to say what you did, very inspiring. I know it's hard to step up and speak in white spaces. I went to a predominantly white high school, and I go to predominantly white college, all that stuff. And my job is even right. The world is predominantly white.
Yeah.
But
here anyway, yes.
But taking the time, speaking up and stepping out of your comfort zone, especially in Texas, that takes a lot of courage and things like that. But I just have a question. Did you see, looking back, did you see any events that led up to it and you're like, oh, I should have known that they
No. I was completely blindsided. And I still feel very well liked by the people who served under me, loved, those people. They took care of me. They sent food to my house when my mother was sick. My air conditioner went out and the church replaced it. My gutters needed cleaning and they just showed up one Sunday after church and did that. So I was in a position where I was not expecting it. I literally had we had a rehearsal Wednesday night, and I literally sat there with Pastor Scott Price and had a 2-hour conversation about my fears about Black men and some of the things that we face, just so that he could have an understanding, sort of an ideal, because it's Montgomery, Texas. It's 86.3% Caucasian. It's 4% Black people, and the rest are made up of people who are of Latin or Latin American, Mexican descent, or Hispanic. Mm-hmm. So it's not very diverse. It's a red state, you know. So you see more Trump banners hanging off of trucks, and you see rebel flags and the "Don't Tread on Me." It's a part of normal everyday yard decoration. So I understand where I am, but I felt entirely embraced. And I think that's why it broke me down so much, because number one, I was pretty much a salaried person. So I literally gave up my livelihood for my belief system. Mm-hmm. I could have been quiet about it and made an extra $50,000 this year, on pandemic or not, on top of my teaching, on top of my other part-time job. But I didn't choose that. So go ahead, Chris.
I was going to ask who then was it, like the board of elders or something? Who was the one who pulled the string on you like that? Like, do you know precisely who in your church organization made that decision?
I have no clue. All I know is that the pastor called me and told me not to come back to campus, and the head administrator told me that I didn't have to return my master key to every building on the campus.
Because they had the church rekeyed, because they didn't want you back.
Church rekeyed. Lord have mercy. That's
what they did.
I know some people, okay? I know a lot of people. I grew up in Houston. So it took me 2 weeks to talk down a very angry group of Black people that I grew up with. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it took a lot out of me those first 4 or 5 weeks, because everybody was fuming when they heard about what happened to me. So I have no idea who. I know most of the board that serves on that church, their belief system is so Candace Owens that they don't even believe that oppression is a thing. They don't even believe. They believe that this is racial injustice is a made up ideal of the left to distract that Donald Trump is the anointed savior of America. So these people, as much as they love, you can love God, function under the anointing, and still be ignorant. And I have proof of that.
Amen.
It's based off the people that I've interacted with in the last 4 months. So that's my thought on that. Most of those people don't even believe that what we're talking about, we just made this up so we can have something to talk about in their mind. And that's how they function, because their privilege excludes them so much from the real world. They have no perception of actual reality, because their bubble is so thick. Everybody votes Republican. Everybody is white. Everybody goes to a white school. Everybody goes to a white college. Everybody works with white people. So they don't have an understanding of what the other side is like, because they don't do life with us.
But can they then operate under an anointing if that's like, I don't know if the anointing is
I don't think so.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm mincing words sort of, but like, it's hard for me to say, yeah, these are anointed people while they watch Black people get murdered in the street and be like, well, you know, he should have just listened to that doggone cop, brother. Like, you know, that's where I have like, and it's hard because I totally hear what you're saying, but like, it gets to a point where it's like, bro, people are done. You know, there's a guy who comments on Mr. Neuman stuff, and I believe he's a friend of yours, Mr. Bland. James, I believe you called him Icky James. Like,
Icky James.
I love this guy. I love that dude. That dude spits the hottest of fire all the time. It's like he is not mincing words. He is liberated and free and saying, this is what it is. And he's not like malicious. He's not malevolent. He's just spitting it just like it is. And like, I feel like because we've all been so trained in the church to be like, yes, you know, oh, yes, sir, pastor. Like, well, no, like that era is gone. Like, they told you what they thought of you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They let you know, like they can pay they can pay for stuff. They can throw money at you, but they dehumanized you. They dissed you hard. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why it's like, it almost makes me sad because like, I can feel that you're such a godly person. You have so much love in your heart that you're like, maybe you're reticent to even just say, yo, they dissed you. They treated you like you were less than.
No,
because
they did. I had to learn that I was a victim of something. And this was because I don't have a victim mentality. I just never have. I wasn't raised that way. So it took me weeks to realize, hey, something wrong has been done to you. And it took many conversations. It took my white friends speaking to me in love, like, hey, this was wrong. They did this to you. Because my black friends that didn't go, like Jeria, I went to an all-white college. I was homeschooled. Every activity that I did with other people, it was always predominantly Caucasian. So, and I'm light-skinned. So a lot of the prejudices that other people face, I won't ever know about just because of the context of the way that I grew up. So I had to come to terms with the fact that I was a victim. And it's still very surreal for me because it's been done before, but it's been done in underhanded ways. Oh, we don't need a bassist anymore. Right. Oh, we don't need a drummer anymore. Oh, we don't need a fourth singer anymore. Oh, we're changing directions in where we want to go musically at the church. So it's been done in a very underhanded way. Yeah, this was the first time that it's been done blatantly. Don't come back again.
I see.
So it was, I know that they dissed me. I know that they were wrong. And I know that I should probably be angrier about it, but I don't have a victim mentality. And the way that I've conditioned myself to deal with trauma is to look forward. So that's the reason why I have the perception that I do. But yeah, I was completely blindsided. I had no clue. I was very taken care of. I was paid very fairly. So I have I was speechless. I literally sat there for an hour after that conversation, after hanging up the phone, and I didn't know, like, okay, I guess that means I'm not doing worship in 12 hours.
I got a question because I often wonder about myself, whether or not I see the deviousness of others around me. And when it gets past me, I start to reflect. Like, what didn't I pick up on? What were they showing me that I didn't actually slow down long enough to focus on? I mean, have you had, I mean, I guess that's what you were saying when you were saying that we don't need a fourth singer. We don't need a bassist. We don't need what they were really saying is, we don't really want you.
Right.
But you were accepting what they were saying as being, you had no reason to believe it was anything other.
Right.
Yeah.
And now I see things differently because my sensitivity is higher.
Yes. Yeah.
And my sensitivity is higher because what experience makes you more aware. Just like maturity makes you, it changes you. So because I had this experience, I'm looking underneath what people say.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking underneath, let me pray for you. I'm looking underneath, I want to worship with you. I'm looking underneath, you're really good for a girl.
I got to believe that this was for your protection.
I believe it too. I think a week before this happened, I had actually planned a citywide youth event, and we expected probably about 10 youth groups from surrounding churches. So it was going to be a pretty big event. And this happened right before, and I had to cancel. So it was heartbreaking. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
but it definitely showed what that church is about, and that Carbon Church in Conroe, Texas is not for inclusion, because they don't believe that these racial injustices even exist. And most of the people that serve on that leadership team and administratively, they don't believe that this is a thing. They believe that it's made up and it's hogwash, and it's not.
Oh, I was just about to ask the judge what she wanted to say about that.
I know. I was waiting to hear from the judge, and
I'm waiting for the judge.
I was just moving to a different room, and I didn't want to show you guys all that stuff.
Okay, real quick, because we just had another of our favorite guests show up, Councilman Awe, and I just want to. I don't know if everybody caught the beginning of Zee's story. What we're talking about right now, and for those who are watching and who didn't catch the beginning of it, she was the salaried worship pastor at a predominantly white evangelical church who was fired within a few hours from making a Facebook post about the George Floyd murder and the surrounding response to it. And basically into the larger conversation of the intersection of white evangelical Christianity versus racial justice. So that's the that's where the conversation is right now. By the way, anybody watching, if you haven't yet, share the video. We want we got a ton of people on the screen. We want to have a ton of people with us in the comments as well. So if you haven't shared it already, go on ahead. Michael, what were you going to ask the judge?
I just wanted to know what the judge might want to add. I saw her in thought, and that was one of what
honestly, I was just thinking that's God taking people, places, and things that you don't need out of your life. That's all that is.
Right.
A word.
Well, we agree on that. Yes.
Amen.
So here's my question. Here's my follow-up question, and it's not necessarily to Zee or to the judge, but this is a really common thing right now. You're seeing a whole lot of ties being cut between white evangelical Christianity and anyone who cares about racism and racial justice and Black people in particular. So is that indicative of a bigger shift in terms of basically white evangelical Christianity isn't healthy and we need to cut it off? Is that kind of the implication? Or because a lot of these large right-wing churches are very they won't talk about it outright, but racism is a very key issue to them, and not necessarily what we would consider to be the right side of racism.
Can I piggyback off of that? Actually, I think we need to have that conversation about a lot of Black churches as well. Like, some did show up with the George Floyd murder, but a lot of times, they might not go and fire you for making a statement, but they're not going to overtly take a stand when Black people are murdered either. So I think that's a larger issue with Christianity overall, not even just the Black and white thing.
I think I think it's even bigger than just Christianity. I think across all boards. So corporate America, for example, and as a consumer, you're using, and people are benefiting off of your power in terms of as a consumer, and you spending your dollars, and we talk about Christianity in church, and at the end of the day, if you are utilizing me as a consumer or as a worshiper or whatever the case may be, then you should be able to talk to our issues, and I think what you say, when you're silent, you're complicit, and this one is interesting because it's glaring right and wrong. And when you talk about Christianity, right, it's pretty clear what's good and what's bad. It's pretty clear what's Christian like and what's not Christian like. And if anyone could sit there and say racism is Christian like, or not speak to how racism is unchristian like, then that speaks for itself. So I think it's for us to hold people accountable and charge them, and we have to challenge it, whether it's your pastor, whether it's the CEO, whether it's your elected official. Hey, where do you stand on this? And let the lines be very clear.
Right.
Wow, there's everybody's thinking a lot. In my mind, I'm thinking about the way that what's been disturbing me for a while. I was just thinking about corporate America and how Maiya was talking about how a lot of this diversity and inclusion training or department oriented stuff is performative. It's not. They're not really looking to form an alliance with Black people or with people of color. They're looking to exploit the, how do you even put it? Like just the phenomenon, just the social phenomenon of it. I think. I mean, it's just how they do just enough to stay out of
It's
trouble.
a pacification. They want to pacify people. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
they're covering their butts so they can't get lawsuits. That's what that is.
Yeah, but and I get it. I mean, you can go as far back as affirmative action. It's the same situation. It's just, I guess, what I keep coming back to is the part that I can't do anything about, which is change the hearts of anybody.
Right.
Well, I think when it comes to like corporate America, there's a bottom line, which is dollars and cents, and that's the buying power of us. When it comes to, elected life and governmental life, there's a bottom line, and that's the number of the votes, and you get those people out. When it comes to, Christianity and those, those churches and so on and so forth, if they're losing worshipers over this, what I mean, and being called out publicly, then there's that. I think, sometimes, there's a responsibility on us to do just that, to make the challenge and to charge people, what I mean, ask the tough questions and hold people accountable and put it on the record.
Yes,
right?
There's nothing left to do but put the chokehold on them. They don't leave. There's no room for civility when you use people that you don't care about.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't even know what else to really say about it. It's just that's a hard reality for me to process. I don't know how come, or not even process, but just sit with. Like, how do you? Where's your soul? Where's your spirit?
It's morally uncomfortable. It's morally uncomfortable, and like Jeria said, my status wasn't just about white people.
Right.
It wasn't. It was about the church. The church. How can you absorb the benefit? Because we all know this. When it comes to government and you have a nonprofit organization that is a church, and you have 500 people that are members of that nonprofit organization, via the government, you can benefit from those patrons. Even if those people are not tithing, if they are on your roll, you are eligible for a lot of things. That goes for cities, towns, different states. You are eligible for programs. That's why you see churches that have food banks. You see churches that have outreaches. That isn't funded by their members. It's not. It's funded by the state, city, local government, because they have so many people to serve that the government will subsidize for them certain things. When you're benefiting from those people and you cannot advocate for those people, whether it's a Black church or a white church, you're not doing your duty.
Yes, that's morally indefensible.
You're just not.
Yeah. I don't know. We came in deep tonight, didn't we?
Hey, Maxwell, you want to know what I'm thinking about now?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, Judge, please speak.
So what Z is talking about is bringing me back to like it's an uncomfortable and kind of a crappy place. I was thinking about 2 years ago, I think it was. I took a picture with the Black lady judges, and we took it at the what do you call that? Where JFK was shot, the grassy knoll.
Yeah.
And the picture went a little bit viral. And I remember at the time, my ride or die was someone who was not Black. And I saw our friendship start to fracture from that picture. and it never got back right. And finally, I was like, I'm a certain age. I'm not going to live. I've already lived longer than I'm going to live. So let me just cut loose people and things that are not serving me well or doing me harm, emotionally, physically, or spiritually. And that friendship fractured that day, and it just cracked all the way. And it started with that, me taking a picture with those Black lady judges, and then all the cracks about, oh, y'all got Black girl magic. I said nothing of the sort. It was a nice picture on the grassy knoll. We were just saying, wow, look, little girls, look what y'all can do. Look what you can be, or, whatever. And it fractured a friendship with a non-Black person. And it's not just that one, but specifically my ride or die is no longer that.
Right.
Well, what was the aspect that she found so jarring about it?
I think that maybe she didn't like the empowerment. She didn't like the group solidarity. We weren't doing anything to anybody. We were just doing something for us, not even for us. It was for little girls who look like us to say, look at this.
Right.
We weren't trying to hurt anybody or, make our own, I don't know, clique or group, or it was nothing like that. It was just an empowerment for people who are similarly situated, only smaller.
I think white people respond to that across the board like that. Like they get threatened when they see us kind of.
You're a threat. That's it. That's it. That's it right there. We're threats, especially when we come together and so on and so forth. And it's uncomfortable for them, right? And when we have these conversations, we call out on how uncomfortable it is. But how uncomfortable you think it is to, be detained with someone's neck on your, knee on your neck, or do you know what I'm saying? That's uncomfortable, right? You know what I'm saying? And not being able to get, loans and not be able, all these marginalizations of our people. You don't think that's uncomfortable? You know what I'm saying?
To be left out. They hate to be left out, but they don't want to include us.
I think it's just because and being pro-white is anti-Black, but like being pro-Black is not anti-white, and like they don't understand that that's what that means.
I think Jesse's point is really good too. There was probably a little envy there that she was she was your ace or whatever, and yet she wasn't a part of this and couldn't get to be a part of it, And yeah, when you're used to being the center, white people are centered in just about everything, and you're used to everything revolving around you and who you are as a person as defined by your skin color, and suddenly there's things that aren't about you. People take that as a threat, which is ridiculous, but it's what it is. It's your worldview being threatened. Suddenly everything's not all about me,
Mm-hmm.
And how dare it not be about me? It's been about me for centuries.
But remember, I told you guys last week too that I've also had the converse experience where there are sometimes Black people don't invite me to things because my experience is not Black enough for them.
Right.
I guess I'm on my own dang island over here. It gets a little close sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not Black enough. Oh heck. We should have a group of us, the ones who are not Black enough. I don't know.
That would start a whole nother. I don't know who would hate us more if we started that.
That's what's going on here. None of us are come from any sort of common ilk. We clearly all think and contribute to society in a way that our people are not necessarily known for. I guess except for me. And Zee, you're a musician, so I guess they'll give us that. But yeah, it's there's quite as it's kept. I mean, people keep saying Black people are not a monolith, and I guess that's true. And I'm not sure what we can do about it or with it, but yeah, that's interesting how your own people want to judge you for trying to live your life out in the way that you see fit.
And that was another thing that I experienced because I'm in a predominantly white area. So you can assume what kind of music we play. We don't play my kind of music that I grew up. I grew up James Cleveland, Dottie Peoples, Shirley Caesar, I grew up Richard Smallwood,
Yes.
Dorinda Clark Cole, the Clark sisters, Yolanda Adams, real
Yes.
gospel music.
Yes.
Not this watered down 17 keyboard stuff that everybody plays because
they still playing
because they have multi-tracks.
Lord, I lift your name on high.
And we're all volunteers, so we don't have time to learn our music or our instruments.
Right. Okay.
But I digress.
Yeah. That's all right.
I got judged so harshly for adapting professionally to the environment that I was in.
Uh-huh.
I got judged so harshly by saying, I'm going to purchase in-ears. I'm going to get a deeper snare. I'm going to learn how to play exactly like the record and not like it's drum off 1994.
Well,
I got judged so and ostracized by the Black musician community because I adapted my style to suit the kind of money that I needed to make in my environment. Because not all of us can drive an hour back into the hood to make $50 for a Sunday. Some of us want to make $500 a Sunday and play 3 songs and be done with worship in 18 minutes because it's 5 minutes away from the house. I love Black gospel music, but I've been playing elevation worship for 2 years. I got ostracized so harshly and bullied so much for making that change. And it wasn't even for culture. It was for money or demographic. So I could make a living, It wasn't even for that. But like the judge said, you're not Black enough. You're too Black to be with the white people and too white to be with the Black people. It's funny how that has been an experience for you, who you're a lawmaker, and that has been the experience for me. I'm just a church musician. But it's true.
There's such a deep irony in that. And again, my whiteness aside, to that point about gospel music, Black gospel music absolutely got me saved. And it wasn't, and I'm sure anyone who's in the church now will have seen this. I'm sure, Mr. Neuman, you've seen this. In the around 2002, 2000, in the early 2000s, the thing became about, I want to get a gig at a church because I want to get on with an R&B act. Like I want to tour, all these Chicago musicians putting on with Destiny's Child and whoever. And the thing, so I got saved and then I played at a church, because of like my spiritual experience there. And it wasn't to try to get put on necessarily. It was because I was trying to honor this incredible gift that I was given by people who love me enough to try to be like, bro, this is what it is, man. Like, let me speak life into you like this. The tragedy of the music you're talking about is that the deep, resonant spiritual intensity of Black gospel music, which is one of America's greatest, most treasured traditions, that speaks back to literally, West Africa. It is a powerful thing. It is an anointed. There's oil all up on it. And the saddest thing in the world to me is seeing Black churches be doing these lame, white, praise and worship, whack 1, 4, 5, 6 songs. It's just so tragic to me because I'm just so scared it's going to be a lost art. You know what I mean? Like, and to your point, that's the gig. It's like, hey man, let me play these Hillsong songs. Let me play these real kind of corny little songs, and that's fine on some level. But people, I got saved behind Fred Hammond. Like, that got me saved. Like, this isn't like playtime for me. This was like my life was literally saved by these incredible songs, and Daryl Coley and these type of artists that really spoke life into me. So like, I just feel some type of way hearing you say that as a musician, and like, I totally feel you because we've all been in that boat with that. Let me lift your name on high. You know what I mean? So I feel you and I'm with you and I speak life in you on that because like, I'm so concerned. And again, I appreciate the irony of a white man saying this, but like the deep power of gospel music in America, which is one of the greatest legacies of musical history in this country, being lost to these whack Australian, cheesy, white, Christian rock band. It just hurts my heart. That's all. It just hurts my heart.
I mean, I fire my shots. The musician in me absolutely hates this trash where Black keys don't exist in this music. And this is what I tell musicians: Black keys matter. Just like Black people.
That's a word.
Black Keys Matter. And I always tell Black musicians and white musicians who make excuses for white Wonder Bread worship music. I always tell them this: never forget the heritage of the gospel.
That's it.
Because
that's it.
Me sitting next to a drummer for 15 years cannot compare to 30 hours of YouTube videos that you've studied. It just can't.
That's a word right there.
It can't. It can't.
No, it can't.
And the students that I have, I make them learn real gospel. I make them learn it. Because like you said, Chris, it's a lost art. It's a lost art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. It's not all. No, it's all of it isn't trash, but
it's a generalized statement. It's a generalized statement, but that's the thing is like there's a history and there's a deep serious, and it takes study. This is music that involves all kinds of jazz and all kinds of high level. And again, like just coming from the musical perspective of it, the lack of like following Western musical rules and in turn developing spiritual feels and changes that you're like, that's making me feel something very deep in my heart right now, because that's not just basic everyday stuff. So I mean, no, that's absolutely a word. I appreciate you saying that. That's very true. That's very true.
I want to jump in with one thing real quick, and then I want to find out what's been going on with Jeria and Councilman and the judge and everything. Not to get the topic off of Zee, but I honestly didn't think we'd be on it for a whole hour, and it's been a really great discussion. But I want to make sure we
I told you Zee had the fire. I could see it. Zee,
but I want to say this real quick too. Is like. There's a whole lot of irony when you consider that what contemporary Christian music is it's watered down rock music, which was music that was stolen from Black people anyways.
Yeah. Ditto.
So, but Dan, I wanted to say, here's the thing for me though, is that Black culture is American culture.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of these artists who you guys were talking about, they got overseas, went to different countries, and the way people in other countries respond to I don't want to say Black gospel music, but gospel music, it's incredible. It's incredible what kind of anointing is on it. And also, I think some of it has to be about the place it's coming from also. But Sonny and I were in Italy one time, and somebody came through. There was like a concert at like the town hall, and it was around Christmas time, and they brought this gospel group over, and it was crazy to see how all these Italians were just wilding out over the gospel. Like they either it's authentic or it's not. I guess it's not even about CCM verses or whatever. It's really. I don't know what I'm saying exactly, except
it's a heritage. It's a heritage. It has to be passed down.
There's an entire subculture now of outstanding Chicago musicians who have made an unbelievable six-figure living going to Scandinavia and putting on workshops. I mean, and everyone knows, I'm sure everyone from all of our hometowns knows, man, these cats, you should have seen the way they were in Stockholm. You know what I'm saying? And these people they are deeply blessed by it. So you're totally right, Mr. Bland. Like it's a real anointing on it. This is a real deep spiritual thing. And it's treasured across the world, which is, again, it's an irony. That's how it is. Like sometimes it takes other people to appreciate something that's right in our backyard, But
and as Black people, that happens to us all the time, because we tend to accomplish things artistically that we leave behind. Like, I mean, that's why people like Kingfish are so important. Kingfish is how old? 20, 21?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Playing the blues. I mean, he's one of the few, the proud, still out there.
He's young.
Still out there.
Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in there. He's doing
He's
it.
barely 21. Barely.
Yeah. So
And
it's
you just gave me some confirmation in my spirit because I should check with Kingfish and see if he's available the Tuesday after the election because that would be a great person to talk to after, you know.
I would hold up on that just because we don't really know what mood the people are going to be in.
We're probably not gonna know for like a week and a half after.
Whoa! The queen, Maiya. Well, we got many queens this evening. Maiya's just one more queen.
Hi. I only came. Well, there's two reasons why I came. One, of course, Michael Bland to gaze upon your glory, right? Always a pleasure. Chris Lundholm, where have you been all my life?
Listen,
you over here rocking my world, sir.
For you, I've been waiting for you because you blessed me.
Listen, if you could hear me over here between my car and my house over here going, preach, Chris.
I appreciate you.
We're multiple times.
Around a little later, but listen, I appreciate you because I'm a big fan of yours as well. It's a very mutual love situation here because I appreciate you. Thank you for that. You blessed me.
I'm just a little black girl from South Central LA. That's it. But I appreciate it.
Chris has been in the comments just about every episode.
Yeah,
I know it. I'm here, and now I see why he's on camera. He deserves it. But hey, everybody, hi again. Bye. I'm out.
Bye, Maiya.
Really, that's all you giving us, Maiya?
Appreciate
you, Maiya.
Bye.
I can get used to this, Dan.
Serious, okay.
Get used to this.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mutual admiration society here, Chris. We've been real fortunate to have, just like the level, the focus, the generosity, the information that people have shared on this show. All these people here have given us and our viewers, just a lot of valuable information that who knows if they would have been able to get it anywhere else. Judge Dominique, you changed people when you came on this show.
What happened?
My wife came down and said that judge, man.
She's just like, I'm just doing my job. I'm doing my job.
Yeah. And she said, what did I do?
I gave Michael a hard time because I'd never seen Michael that quiet. Michael was just sitting there and listening rapturously, like the judge is teaching.
The judge was teaching. The judge is a teacher. The judge might be a preacher.
Well, my grandparents were Pentecostal pastors, so sometimes some stuff just shoots out.
That's what that pow. You just came out with it. Yes.
Make me talk all rhymey and stuff.
All rhymey, but not grimy.
Well, it depends. I was in the military, so sometimes my rhymey can get grimy.
Oh, well, all right.
The judge is a rapper too.
Yeah, apparently. You're about to give us a solid 16.
Yeah.
No.
Well, wow. Well, so much for lightening the mood on this episode there, Dan Spiffy Neuman.
I was gonna say it's been as light as it can be. Although if I put my wife's question back up there for Jeria, it might not stay. That.
I saw that.
Jerry, I don't know if it'll stay light then.
Yeah, I can go. Number one, again, my thoughts are my own. They do not reflect the Biden-Harris campaign. They don't reflect what's Dems or anything. And again, y'all know some stuff I can't say because I like having a job. But I think I don't need to get anything off my chest. I know Kamala's probably going to make him cry because her specialty is making white men cry. But I am very excited. Very excited for this historic moment. Like, a Black woman has never been on that debate stage ever. Never. So a Black person, period, has never been on that stage. So I'm really excited.
Well, yeah, it's Kamala. I already see that head getting ready to move. That when she does that, and her hair is back in the behavior, I can't wait.
Yeah. It's tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow at 9 Eastern, 8 Central.
I believe I have my pink and green outfit already ready.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I knew your sorority background, but I am not surprised. I think I'm not in the slightest bit surprised. Well, you think maybe you did tell me that you're a AKA. I don't know.
I don't think we talked about it.
Yeah, you know, a lot of fabulous, brilliant, gorgeous Black women are AKAs. It's just, you know, when I was younger, never mind.
Yeah, your wife is right here on the broadcast watching and listening to everything you say.
Yeah.
And it's not just AAAs. You know, shout out to Howard and HBCUs. Shout out to, you know, all Black Greek letter organizations. I'm a Sigma here, so, you know, for our AK sister that's making moves. So, you know, putting all of us on the spotlight, and, you know, this is what we've been doing. We've been doing this, you know, and so it's good to see on the stage, and she's gonna kill it, you know, as we know that she, you know, as we know that she will, you know. So it is what it is. But them AKAs, they're gonna be a problem now because I can't even say anything to y'all because y'all about to be in the White House, God willing. You know what I'm saying?
God willing.
Yeah. Where's the knock on?
So you know we're nothing Black enough. Look what my child gave me for Christmas.
Oh, how do I?
She said they've been trying to get it. So
hold up again.
Here's your whole box, right?
Wow.
Have you guys played this game before?
Yes. And if you look at the rules, it says like there's no real rules. You make them up because that's what Black people do anyway.
Exactly.
So my favorite card in here is the one where it says, "Who said damn, damn, damn?"
Every Black person.
Lord
Evans said it when James died.
Lord Evans. Mm-hmm.
Hold up a second.
I have all y'all's cards.
Hold up a second, because Dr. Nikki keeps commenting, but she's a past guest, so she can jump on. She has the link. Nikki, why don't you join us? You know, past guests are all welcome to come on. So I just wanted to fuss at her for a second. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was
sorry,
just saying that's my favorite Black card of this game is the one about who said damn, damn, damn.
Yeah, that's the Florida said it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Well, Councilman.
Yes, sir.
Wait, what have you been doing, man? We haven't seen you in a while.
You know, just grinding. I'm actually that's why I'm still in the car. We just finished National Night Out, which is supposed to be like a national campaign to bring neighborhoods together. You know, and you know, if it wasn't for the pandemic, people would be cooking out and, you know, so on and so forth, just making sure neighbors know each other. So we just finished a caravan on that, but it's just really been, you know, the drive to election day, making sure people go out, a lot of education. So this is the first time here in Jersey that we did a full mail-in ballot election, and so there's a lot of education that's taking place in terms of, you know, getting the ballots filled out, getting them turned in, and so on and so forth. Obviously, the census and the big last push to get, you know, make sure those were counted. This election, in particular in Jersey, is pivotal because there's 3 particular ballot questions that's really important. One of them is legalizing marijuana. Another one is, it's veterans and their, due, like in terms of their credits or whatever the case may be, that it passed on to their spouses even when they die. And the last one is actually related with the census, because of the census being so late because of the pandemic. They ready to redraw district lines without the current information. So, you know, there was a ballot question saying, hold up, get all of the, you know, census data and then, you know, do the line. So it's been a big push for that. But other than that, just going in, making sure people is, you know, safe out here. Apparently there's been some upticks in some neighborhoods, you know, here on the East Coast. So we don't want that to be us. And then the election, man. And, you know, obviously, you know, the occupier of the White House has given us a lot of fodder to like deal with. And so dispelling all of those fallacies and making sure the focus stays where it needs to be. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because it's definitely distracting people. So that's pretty much it. And checking you guys out.
Well, all right, man. I'm sorry, Dan. Were you going to say something?
Oh, I was going to change the subject, so go right ahead if you got something on topic.
No, that's cool.
I was just going to ask, do we want to talk about He Who Shall Not Be Named and what has happened in the last several new? I mean, so the last show we had was the judges episode, and the debates were happening as our show was on, and like so many things have happened over the course of this past week. My head hurts. I have whiplash. Like from in the past week, we started with the refusing to disavow white supremacists and went to like the White House allegedly now being like a super spreader. So
do we really have to get into this?
We don't have to. I just wanted to see if
Why
anybody
are you
wanted
giving him free promo?
Can I share?
But you know what? I don't even think it's free promo. I mean, what's really clear is you have a cat who's like in a sinking ship and said, F it, I'm going to tear everybody else down with it. You know what I'm saying? Including everything, you know, all morality, all tradition, all like, I'm just going to tear everything down with it. Like, how, you know, I just don't, yeah.
So he said a lie during the debate that like among all the other absolute abominations of absurdity that he said, this one is just personal for me. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I've been diabetic since I was 10 years old, and I live on insulin. So he made that comment about insulin costing the same as water. Listen, like that's like someone dagger right in my. My whole life I wanted to be a musician or a basketball player or a baseball player. You know what I mean? Like that's all I wanted to do. But when you live on insulin, your job is to keep sure, like, because insulin is thousands of dollars per month. Like the way my diabetic supplies cost outrageous amounts of money, and I'm a cash cow for insurance companies, but I'm also a liability. So I've had to spend like literally the past 30 years of my life accepting this reality that like I am beholden to insurance companies, all type of pharmaceutical companies, because I inject every day, like 7 times a day, insulin. So he comes out with this hot mess about insulin costing, the same water. I mean, I damn near broke my TV because it's a lot of people out here who are trying to survive. And I promise you, we all know someone who's low key trying to save their insulin. Insulin is like worth its weight, and like, so I'm not trying to think about me because God knows all the absurd, nonsensical gaslight that clown gets himself into constantly. But like, it's one of those many that like there's people all over this talking about white supremacists. Proud Boys are a bunch of geeks, like a bunch of weirdo nerds who can't get girlfriends. They hate themselves. They hate everyone. They're a bunch of geeks and weirdos. But because these people, he talks about them, he affirms them, and then he makes them seem like more than they're not. These dudes would be scared of every single person in this group right here. They wouldn't talk to any of us. They'd be just with their head down in their neck, eating their little chips and keeping it moving. They're a bunch of dweebs. Like, forget the Proud Boys. But like those little lies that he says, insulin costs this. The Proud. Oh, I'm just telling them to stand back and stand by. I mean, every person in America watched that debate, and it was an abomination, and it was obscene. It was embarrassing, and it was obscene. So I bring that up just to say that, like, I had a personal, emotional response to seeing a dude flat lie about my reality, bro. This has been 30 years of my life trying to make sure I can afford my medicine. I work with special needs kids in a public school. Thank God. I love my kids. I love my job. But that's why I do it, so I can afford my insulin because I get good benefits. If I didn't have that, I mean, I want to play guitar. I want to go play funky guitar. I want to go play my guitar at like clubs in the city. I can't live on that. I can't buy insulin on that. You know what I mean? So he says this type of stuff. Trust me, it's a lot of people who are done. And like his time is well past come. And I just pray to God that there's no tomfoolery at the election, because we got to get it together, because this dude he can't do it anymore. This can't go.
You know what? I want to believe you, and I want to, like, in earnest, I want to really believe you. But the one thing I've kind of realized with this whole thing is maybe I was a little bit naive. I think, Judge Collins could speak to this and Jay could speak to this a little bit. But I think when you're in this game, you kind of think you've seen it all, and you're really kind of, you get thin skin, thick skin to it. But what I'm being, what I'm shocked to see is that there's so big a group of people who actually believes this rubbish, who actually support his rubbish. And the reality is you may work with them. They may be your next door neighbor, right? You know what I'm saying? These are people that you know, and Judge Collins just spoke to you. She had a homegirl who was her ace. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy to me. So it's funny. Like, I'm a person that, you put your head down and you just work. And when you do good work, it shows. But, and this is probably really relevant, to the earlier conversation. I've never prayed so much in my life, because it's literally, it's the reality that you can really work and do good and it can still turn out bad. And whatever God's plan is God's plan, and we're not supposed to understand it, but it's scary, right? And, you see it in that debate. So as I scroll Facebook comments and when you have conversations and then hear with how one-sided that debate was, and still hear people support and still hear people say, oh no, he did, speak against white supremacy. Y'all just wasn't listening. What? I heard stand back and stand by. That's what I heard, and that's all that matters. It's crazy to me the way people create their own narratives to, be comfortable.
That's good. That's good, man. You're right.
Yeah. Just piggybacking off of that, I think that goes back to the whole idolization. Like, they don't care about the policies. They care about idolizing this man who is a figure for racism and what America used to be and what they want America to go back to being.
Right. I agree with you, Jeria. I think that people who push this narrative that the unnamed is what's going to fix everything are literally, I'll tell you this, if you've ever read this book called The Art of Seduction, it's not about what you think it's about.
I wrote that book.
It's an amazing read. I read this book 3 times, and literally he is teaching a clinic on how to assume what everyone needs at any given time in America. Like what Chris said about the Proud Boys, these little dweebs, affirming them. That's what they need. Poor white people need to feel valid because they don't have a social economic identity because they're poor. People who have everything, who are rich, need a cause. So they attach themselves to that cause. That's what this is about. It's not about killing babies. It's not about abortion. Because if abortion bothered you, a grown man being killed in the street would bother you too. So let's start there. Planned Parenthood doesn't just kill babies. They provide other health care for women who can't afford it, women like me, who don't know what that tumor is and need someone to look at it because I only technically work 16 hours a week during the pandemic. So let's just be real. Like, America's being seduced and religion is being used. Money is being used. These religious causes are being used. Even human morality is being used. We're all being played. We are being played by one of the best. We forget that he is one of the greatest entertainers of the early 2000s. People forgot about that and thought it was a joke. And now look at where we are.
Well, it's time for him to get fired.
Get out and vote.
Please, if you need a ride, let me know. I got gas money.
Send you an Uber.
Right.
The other aspect that we sometimes overlook is that people get their news in a vacuum now.
Yes, sir.
Like, everybody is served their own ideals and back to them. If you got a specific set of beliefs, there's somebody out there to cater to them. There's no universality or common truth anymore in representation. And I think that's kind of on purpose. You know, that's how I feel about it. Anybody else got any thoughts on that?
I think, again, it goes back to the money thing. All our news stations that we watch are owned by the same people. It's just, it's going back to money. Like, people will consume what they want to consume.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that one of the things that's an issue, and that's such a good point, Michael. Like, that's so important, because there was a time up until, you know, like we said, the early 2000s, where there was one news source. Like, people watched, you know, the nightly news or Walter Cronkite or whoever, and there's an understood narrative. Whether or not it was completely true or not was kind of beside the point. We understood that that's what it is. You know, they think these people who like, as those of us, whatever level of what they perceive as liberal and progressive, whatever, they like talk about us like we're like a communist club that meets in some basement, you know, with Mao Zedong books, and like, you know, they really, I mean, this is how they talk. And I promise you, you think I'm kidding. Go into, I said to this to a dude a few months ago, I said, listen, man, Breitbart is a white supremacist news source. He's like, no, it's just a conservative news source. I'm like, go into the comment section, bro. Choose the first 3 comments every time without fail. Racist. I mean, deep, hateful, violent racism. Sure. I mean, I'm talking like not little light baby stuff. Like, we're talking hardcore, hateful, white supremacist insanity. So these people, we have to understand. So, Councilman, you're right. And, you know, like, you kind of checked me on that, because I learned in 2016, I had to swallow my pride. I was like, there's no way this dude's going to win. There's no way this country, you know what I mean? But I was dead wrong. I was dead wrong, bro. And I'm not going to get caught again. I'm not going to get caught out again. I can't have that. But these people.
Have you volunteered?
Have I volunteered?
Yeah.
I mean, not in theory. I mean, I don't know what it means to volunteer. I mean,
have you made calls? Have you sent texts?
Oh, listen, everyone. I don't know anyone who messes with Trump. Like, I don't know anybody. Like, everyone's like, oh, is someone to vote?
The party, like through the party.
No, I ain't done that.
So everybody was like, if you don't vote, you can't complain. But if you don't do the work and to get people out to vote, people in your community, you don't reserve the right to complain, because it's not just voting, it's persuading people, it's getting people who are usually disenfranchised out to vote. So if you want to volunteer, text cheese to 30330 and we can
I received that.
Shameless plug.
Shameless.
I'm with it, though.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're right. I mean,
say that again, Jeria.
This is the fact of the matter, though. Me, much like all these other people in this country, we're busting 55 hours a week, 60 hours a week, making 25K. I'm trying to put gas in my car. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on the verge. I'm bouncing checks to get groceries, like, at the end of the week. Like, so it's not a matter of like, oh, I got this time, I'm chilling. It's like, dude, we're out here trying to survive. Like, and this isn't poor mouthing. I'm just being real. Like I said, I'm a diabetic out here trying to survive. Like, we're trying to live. So, like, the problem is that, you know, we're in a situation where the people who are the most disenfranchised also have the least resources to pursue those type of avenues. So you're totally right. You're totally right. And I know you got an answer for that. So
I actually do.
I know you do.
I've been going, like, the organizing model. It doesn't necessarily work with poor people or like people of color, because they don't have the resources to volunteer. But again, it's only 1 hour out of your week. You should see these old Black women in the hood who barely have food on their table. They go out and do it. And it's 1 hour. Like, the time you've been on here, you could have been making calls.
Why you gotta do it like that? Why you gotta do it like
that? This is a great way to influence as well. But let me ask you this question too: since we're still in the pandemic, can people do it from their homes, or do you have to actually go to the? Because when last time my wife and I did it, I know she definitely had to go into a call center essentially. But it's set up to do from home now?
Yeah, you can do it from your home. When you text the number, they'll reach out to you and they'll send you a link, and you can literally do it from your home. It's so easy. The contact rate is only about 20%, so you might only talk to 5 people. But Trump won Wisconsin by about 4 or 5 votes per precinct. So, like, every person you talk to matters.
Yeah. And you know what Jay is saying is important, because there's, you know, for example, when you talk about him, so they're not even playing fair, right? So in this pandemic, they're still going door to door, which we all know It's not a thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, how unsafe is that? And they don't care. And they're going to put people at risk, whether the people volunteering for him or the people's doors they're going through, and put them at risk. Even with that said, you know, I think a lot of times it's just hearing the other side. So you, Chris, for example, talking to people who might be more inclined to listen to you because of, you know what I'm saying, and giving them the other side, you know what I'm saying? Because what has been lost is, you talk about those times where you had Cronkite and so on and so forth, but we as, you know, consumers of the information wasn't as lazy as we were now, right? So we knew if there was A, there was also B, and then you make the decision that best suits you based off of the facts on both sides, right? That doesn't happen no more. But I make it a habit to make sure I tune into facts, as painful as it may be, just so I can hear the nonsense they're saying, right? Because that's the other side, and people don't do that no more. Right. And so if I have an opportunity to give them the other side, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And so if we're all making that a mission to do in whatever way we can, you know, that's what's really important. And at least they can't say I didn't hear it. Right. Because how many people that I've had conversations with, and like, you know, that's a little bit, you know, leaning towards the middle a little bit, and they didn't know all of the facts. So, for example, you know, Zoe's talking about, or Zee's talking about, you know, Planned Parenthood, and a person that might not be receptive or might not know, think that's all they do, abortions. But they don't know that they give critical care and hygiene products, all the other services, you know, planned, you know, parenting and so on and so forth, just to help families that don't have it. They may not know that because all they've heard is they kill babies, right?
Which even if they did, it's not your body. Like, what white people and like Trump people learn, they want to worry about themselves every other time until it comes to discussing what's going on with the woman's body.
Well, I think that part of that, and somebody can tell me if they've heard the same or if they think it's incorrect, but what year is it? Is it 20? Oh, you know where I'm going with it.
I sure do.
well, take over, Z. You could probably articulate.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I want people to hear a man say it first. Because some people need a man to say it.
I yield the floor to you anyway.
I have a problem when a man in a suit tells me what to do with my vagina.
Sure.
Yeah.
See, did it give you life or not when Kamala was asking Kavanaugh as a nominee? Kamala, sorry, as a nominee. Okay. We're gonna get stuck on minutia, I see. So, did it give you life or not when she asked him, "Is there a law in the books that tells a man what to do with his body?"
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. I already like. That's my problem. Okay. My second problem is the fact that white evangelicals are evangelicals, Christians, because ignorance comes in all colors.
Well,
let's be very honest. When Christians can picket an abortion clinic, but they'll sit under pastors who they know are predators.
Yeah. Watch out now.
That behooves me. It doesn't make any sense to me to think, and a lot of people who support the right believe that Democrats' only stance is gay marriage and abortion. And that's not true. The reason why most Black people are voting the way that they're going to vote this year is because that party is receptive to the conversation of equality. And they've proved it. They proved it.
It's a fundamental flawed argument for anyone who's a conservative about, you know, abortion and so on and so forth, because they're the ones that sit there and say, I don't want government telling me what to do, right? You know what I'm saying? But now you want government to tell, like, it's a fundamentally flawed argument. You
want to govern. Go ahead, Jerry. I'm sorry.
But you don't want to put money into like welfare, all these things for these children that are already alive. Like, it's not about abortion. It's not about caring about the babies. It's about controlling women, and especially minority women.
Right. Think about if this happens, okay? And abortion is illegal. That only hurts women. It only hurts women who are in a predicament, social economic predicament. Like, I wouldn't want to give up a child. I wouldn't want to have to make that decision. But can you imagine being so economically oppressed that you have to decide between your legacy and food to eat? And that's the problem. It's a social economic problem. It's not a moral problem, because I know Satanists who are better parents than some Christians that I know.
Well,
I know atheists and
see how the devil is at
who
work.
are better and more present when it comes to parenting than some pastors that I know. It's a social economic problem, and people bring stuff into it that has nothing to do with it. And just like Councilman said, they receive their news in a vacuum. Just because your friend on Facebook that looks like you, drinks like you, talks like you, lives like you, makes the same amount of money as you, says that this is true, does not mean that it's true. Ask a Black person, ask an immigrant, ask a gay person, ask a woman who's had an abortion, ask the man who has been incarcerated. That's all you have to do. People are afraid of truth.
Yes, the truth is right there. It's right in front of you more often than not. And that's not where actually I was headed. And I'll just put this on the table and y'all can say what you want about it. But I was headed towards the issue of the fact that white people are becoming getting dangerously close to becoming the minority group in the United States. And I have heard this before more than once. I've heard somebody say they're trying to stop abortion because they need their numbers up.
But what they don't realize is them outlawing abortion is not going to stop abortion. It's just going to stop safe abortion. So women are going to die. Black women are going to die. Poor women are going to die.
Sure. Well, and it's theoretically white women are going to die too.
Yeah.
With I have to say, at least in my experience, and who I hate to sounds kind of haggard and dark, but the being against abortion thing is a cudgel that they use to indulge their racism and hatred of Black children. So, like, they act like they care about Black children. They do not care about Black children, but they say, because I don't want them, I care about the kids, which is also, as a side note, why this obsession they have now with child trafficking, which is like this weirdo psychotic thing and bubbling up on the American right wing. They're acting like everyone is like trafficking children all the time. It's a way that they get out of their own cognitive dissonance that points out that they are being terrible to children across this country. But I want them to, you can't kill babies though. You can't kill babies. And then there's little, Mexican children trying to survive, being molested, being treated like savage animals, in cages. So to me, at least my perception of it is, it's a total front, much like all this is. It's virtue signaling, trying to protect them from the reality and the cognitive dissonance that points out to them that they do not care about children. If they cared about children, they'd make sure the schools were good. They make sure that people could get health care. If you cared about children, this is what we'd be doing, not pretending that you care about kids because you're forcing a Black woman to have a child in poverty, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I don't think that's not getting them. That doesn't close off the cognitive dissonance to me, though. What really is happening is you're talking about people who will fight for anybody who can't argue for themselves, who can't advocate for themselves. It's not so much pro-life, I guess it's pro-birth, but it's there's no one easier to defend than someone who is essentially defenseless.
So the same people were real quiet when they were sterilizing women at the border, though.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they were.
And God knows what else went on there.
We haven't
heard from the judge in a little bit. What you got to say, Judge?
I'm not allowed to comment on things that could come up judicially.
Yeah.
But when you see me being quiet like that, there's sometimes I just can't comment on certain things.
No, I've seen your facial expressions, and I'm sure other people have too. But
I can't stop my face. It's like Steve Martin's foot, his leg.
Let him use you.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
Well, hold on a minute, Dan. I got to shout out to somebody I never expected to come on to be watching the show, let alone make comments. Boo Frable from well, I grew up with Boo. We went to South High School together.
What's the name?
Her name is Boo Frable.
Yeah, I saw her commenting.
Yeah, I know Boo from way back. We were in band together. She played trombone.
Nice.
One of the sweetest people I ever met in my whole life.
Aww.
And I'm so happy she decided to chime in. Hi, Boo.
Hey, Boo. Thank you for that, Boo. I appreciate you, Boo.
Yeah, she's always been a dynamo. I'm sure. And anybody if she's still in New York, she used to be in New York. I'm not sure if she's still there or not. But she would be a good person for us to have on the show also. And also, my sister-in-law is watching for the first time, Molly Meyer, and apparently she shared the broadcast with a lot of people out in California. So thank you, Molly. We appreciate you.
Just in case anybody's wondering, Chris had to take a conference call, but he'll be back if the call's over before the episode's over. So, but luckily we got to have Councilman Awe here for a little bit. I know he's a fan favorite of the audience. A lot of our regular viewers love Councilman Awe. So sorry, where were we? My fault.
I was just saying, hey, love you back, Boo.
Say hi.
They're just saying hello.
Last week.
Judge Dominic, is your daughter there?
I just told her, yes, my law student is here.
Does she want to come on?
She's coming to say hi.
She's going to come on and say hi, all right? Yes.
There's my law student.
That's all right. Now I can't see her because you put the thing up there.
Yeah, right down.
Hello, what is your name?
Paige.
Hi, Paige. Nice to meet you. I'm Michael.
Good to meet you.
We got Jeria, we got Zee, we got Chris, we got your mom and you, and we got Dan Spiffy Neuman right here.
I think we pretty much have all the generations represented too, though, because Jeria is probably in the same generation that you are, and so you know come and have a seat at the table. You know, you're not gonna. It's not all just old people up here.
just me.
just the judge.
Judge, I'll be 52 in March. I don't know where you're at, and whatever age you are, you don't look it.
Yeah, I saw 52 a couple of months ago. You know, it's not.
Oh,
so
well,
bad.
God bless you. Be happy. Yeah, like I said, you 37, 38, Judge. What?
That's what I told you. I've lived longer than I'm going to live, so I cannot be wasting time on people or things that do not serve me or disturb my peaceful state of mind.
Oh, she rhymed again. You were rhyming, though. You rhymed. I heard that. That was good.
Oh, here come the Pentecostals.
Yeah.
You lost her already, though? Your daughter, we lost her already?
No, she's over here. She's sitting right there.
I mean, she can if she wants to be on camera, she can also log in separately, too. We can throw her on the screen. We'd love to hear.
She has homework. Civ Pro is kicking her arse.
Oh, yeah.
Well, at least does she come and ask you for help?
Well, I don't like Civ Pro. I told her when I was in law school, she was 4 years old. And so every Wednesday was my hardest day of class. And it was with this terrible class. And I say, I wonder if they'll take me back. I wonder if my house in Arizona has sold yet. Can I go back and live in there? That's an ugly class.
I don't know nothing about it.
You don't want to.
What is CIP Pro? I don't know what that stands for even.
So it's a civil procedure thing. Like for instance,
oh, okay.
You know, like when people get sued, the one thing that I remember from Civ Pro is when one of my friends gets sued and they say, "Oh, I've been served. What do I do with this?" And I go, "Well, I can count the days to when your answer's due." That's all I remember, so that the person doesn't get a default judgment. If you don't answer in time, they win.
Like what cases the court can hear?
That's all I remember, and that's all I'm gonna remember. That class can get rocks.
So would that be because like I've sued a couple of former landlords over the years.
Right.
And I have no legal training, but I studied and I represented myself and I won both times. And yes, I'm bragging. Would that be the kind of stuff that I would have learned in Civ Pro, or is that a different side of civil law?
Kind of. I mean, it's there. It's just learning how that there are rules that have to be followed. Your filings and motions have to be appropriate and timely. That's pretty much it.
You all right there, Chris? I thought
I'm good.
Looked like a scary movie for a minute.
I had to go grab my.
Done murdered Chris while he's on the show.
They found him.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It looked like the Blair Witch Project. The camera was going.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I had to switch cameras once and everything. All kinds of problems, but it's all right. Thank you. Checking in.
Well, let me throw this out there too. Since we have two musicians up here, can I get either of y'all to bug Michael for some stories for the road? Because I love when Michael starts telling stories.
Oh man, that's the worst part of the show.
Chris have some questions for Michael?
Nobody wants to know nothing about me.
Can I just real quick, Mr. Blank? So sorry to do this to you. I know you're not even that type because I know you don't want to hear from Calvin Rogers. You don't want to hear from me. But dude, I just want to blow a small amount of sugar up your booty real fast. Just give me 10 seconds, dude. You are so to me, man. You blow sugar. My friends are watching this right now, and they're all blue and so you're watching this, bro. Listen, you're so special to us, man. And let me tell you, and the thing that I found about you, and I'm totally projecting, so forgive me for this, but like you had such a working man vibe about you, even though you had so much swag, that the way you played was like you had a blue collar, like Midwestern vibe about you in the way you played, even though you shined and stuff. You know what I mean? So like you really, I mean, like, and it's very rare that you get to talk to people that like really impacted you, but your drumming like genuinely changed a lot of lives, man, including mine. My little brother's watching this right now. He wanted me to ask you about when you guys would play up at Bunkers with your group, and instead of doing Every Bit of Your Love, nuts. He wanted me to ask about that. He said that he saw you guys playing that, but that's a whole other conversation. I just appreciate you, man. I'm sorry. I had to do it. I'm sorry.
It's always nice to hear, man. I mean,
I'm sorry, dude. I didn't want to do it. Ever since he told me about this, I was like, listen, I'm going to not be a mark. I'm not going to be a spasmoid and annoy Michael Bland, who changed my damn life when he, on the opening, break down. I don't want to hear nobody, listen, like, you blessed me, man. You blessed me with it. We love you, man. Listen, it's a lot of people out here who love you, man, and we speak life in you, for real. Like, so from my heart, I appreciate you, and I love you a lot.
I'm receiving it, man. I love you back, man. It's always nice to hear. So
thanks, man.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, instead, let me hear some grimy road stories, bro. I want to hear some real grimy, like gold experience era, bro. Tell me about that after show in Brussels in '95 that ended up internet, where you all straight blazed the set, doing like the jam and all the stuff from the mid '90s. You got to hit on that era because that's my era right there. The gold experience era was the one, man.
If that's the gig I'm thinking about, that was just we had a day off and Prince decided he wanted to play at this venue that was like in a national park or something.
Is that what it was? It looked. They said on the thing that was an after show.
Maybe I'm thinking about the wrong show. Which one are you talking about?
Gosh, it was a city in. It was near Brussels, I want to say. I
think that was Ghent. I think that was Ghent.
But you just
that was not an after show. That was the next day, and we were supposed to have it off. And Prince don't like taking days off, so
yeah.
That's the reason there's not many grimy stories, is because we were working all the time. We didn't have time we couldn't,
Okay. I appreciate that.
we were always on, man. If there was a day off, we were in the studio or we were playing another show somewhere, and we had a lot of fun, but sometimes it was like we were exhausted, man. And just kind of, so I tell people all the time, it's like working for Prince I'm glad I, wasn't in my 30s trying to handle that. I started with him when I was 19. By the time I was 26, I mean, it was as much like he was doing me a favor, firing me at 26. Oh man, now I can, have a life. I can plan my life. I can do things. I don't have to ask Prince first. I had to ask Prince first before I could schedule my wedding date when I was 24 or 23.
Michael,
I'm trying to get married.
Next time?
What's that?
Can you wear the hat next time?
On this show?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't I got one hat that's maybe that size, like that tall, but it's not one from like a lot of that stuff got tore up being dry cleaned night after night. You know. I mean, I
know
don't
how
know
classy
you
you
do.
getting dry cleaned every night though. That's good. That was real professional then, I guess. That's
I'll put it on the next time the judge comes on. I'll go rummaging for it. If you really want me to, Judge, I'll do it for you.
I want that.
Okay.
Okay, Chris had his moment to fanboy.
Yes.
I'm gonna be a fangirl. I appreciate, Michael, the longevity, because people talk about Prince, but they don't talk about the pop records that you're on, the Demi Lovato, the Jonas Brothers, the stuff I grew up listening to, like Disney era, when Disney started getting funky and putting out some hits. A lot of people don't know that's all your work, like your entire body of work, and the fact that you could work that long is incredible. And I love that about you, because I'm 31. So like that ship has sailed, of being like 18 and going on tour and knowing what that's like. That ship has sailed, and I just want to work. But your body of work is so impressive because it's so versatile. It's such a big vocabulary there. So I just love that about you. And I have a lot of friends who are jealous that I got to talk with you tonight. But that's, to me, that's impressive. I like how long musicians can work, the longevity, because I want to be able to drum for my entire life. And that's what you're doing. And that's why you're such a legend. And I love that.
Thank you, Zee. I can't really put nothing on that. I've always wanted to be able to play for the sake of the music. So I guess that's what I was always studying for, was to be, and also working with Brent, you got to be versatile. He wanted, want to make a jazz record for a couple of days, and okay. I'm a jazz drummer for the next couple of days. He want to make rock and roll records. Okay, fine, no problem. It's just, I guess it's like speaking different languages in a way, like being multilingual. And so I never wanted to be the dude who was holding things up. So I listened to all music when I was growing up. I still do now. Yes. Well, thank you for pointing that out, because a lot of people have heard me on records and they didn't know it.
Yeah. And
that's fun.
What was up with the Exodus record, man? I was just listening to Exodus the other day. The one about the Sonny T concept record, where you like, what was that record all? I was thinking about that.
Exodus?
Yeah. Exodus
was about everything that Prince wanted to say but couldn't, because he might get sued by Warner.
That's what. Okay. Man.
Wow.
That record's a trip, man. I like that record. That one's real special to me, man.
Yeah, he was using Sonny as his mouthpiece, really, as to avoid direct conflict. And some of it was autobiographical, semi-autobiographical. Sonny told me Cherry was about like a young lady they knew.
That's, you can tell. They're talking about
a real story, and it's that Prince and Sonny knew this story, and Prince wrote a song about it.
Wow.
It's like there's a real different kind of chill on Sonny's vocal through that song. It's like there's some energy attached to it.
Like real. I mean, I know before. I mean, dude, that dude is so special, man. He is so special to me too. Like, and I'm a lefty, and it's weird because I play bass, a right-handed bass, like strung upside down. I play guitar strung the right way, but when I play bass, I play like him. So like, man, Sonny T is like, he's the guy to me. And like, I love,
man. Yes.
Dan Spiff, like you had him on here, and that was like a dream come true. I had no idea that you all were playing on 121. I had no idea.
Yeah, and what's worse is we were just funking for the engineer. The engineer was like, "Can you guys play something so I can get these tones before Prince comes in here and starts yelling at me?" Oh, no problem. We just kind of fell into that groove.
That's a groove.
And Prince stopped like in the airline, and he looked in the control room, and then he looked out. And he was like, "Okay," and then he just, he high stepped his way to the guitar. He was like, "What key is this? What's this? This is funky. What's that?" Nothing, man. We just funking. okay, wait a minute, wait. And then he told the engineer to get the tape ready, and
oh Lord,
he and Sonny looked at each other and said, "We just gave him another one."
So good, so good.
That's one more song from us. All right, title track.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because Sonny T had the whammy pedal on the bass, I believe, on that one.
Yes.
Really funked that one out. I mean, Sonny is like a different level of funk. He's real esoteric. That's like genius level funk right there. So that bass line on that one, yes.
Yeah. He's the one who made me realize that funk is universal. Funk is they probably funk on other planets.
Oh, they got to. They have to.
Funk has got to be alive in every crevice of the universe.
Oh, that's so good. What a trip.
Oh my God.
Awesome, man.
Can I take a quick commercial break real quick? And then please don't lose track of where we are. Because this is great stuff. But Chris, so when you have a Sunday free, what you need to do is you need to drive up to Milwaukee and sit in on guitar at my church, and then after service, Jeria is going to take you to volunteer and make calls for the DNC.
You know what?
Don't
run me as a good time now. That would be.
So I'm not going to do that. I am a comms associate now, but I can connect you with the field organizer.
Hey,
she said, call
whatever
my
I
people.
can do. Whatever. See, now, Spiffy, man, I love the fact you're a funky dude yourself, man. You're nice with it. I like your style, bro.
Come on up.
Your style a lot.
Come on up. We're taking all the proper safety precautions. We're mostly streaming. There's not a lot of people there. It's safe. Come on up on a Sunday, and I got guitar gear there.
I'd be so honored, bro. That would be. I'll get myself together. Man, I wish I could play that Parker Fly. I got to play my little upside down.
You can play mine. You can play my stuff,
brother. I'll play a righty guitar. I'm just not going to be as good as I can on the left.
Oh, I mean, if you get there early enough to restring it upside down, you can. I've got one I don't play as much, but we'll work that out later. I just wanted to throw that in as a commercial break. Now y'all go back to kissing Michael's ass because I love those stories.
No, that's putting sugar in there.
Chris, you'll know if you're good because our pastor, he makes a face. He's like, and that's how you know if you're good.
Okay,
you're right. That is the face.
There's the face. Okay. You're not at a real church if the pastor doesn't make the face. You know what I mean? And he'll let you know. Is your pastor like? Is he just like a real one? Is he gonna let you know? It's like you're not doing it. That's not. There's no oil on that. Like
right over the microphone. That's the best.
When they let you know.
A little more. He's one of those guys that just has to very much love on everybody. So if he's got something critical to say, it's not going to be, you're not going to know about it,
Gotcha.
At least not right away, if at all. But if he likes it, you'll know because he's very,
That's
and,
good.
and he comes from a musical background, worked in the music industry. So he knows music and he knows what he likes.
Cool.
Yeah, y'all want to go back? We got a few minutes left. Y'all want to go back to suck it up to Michael some more and see if we can get some more stories out of him? Otherwise, I'm looking for the comment. Someone had made a comment about wanting to find out more about the judge. Well, first of all, last week's episode, go back and tune into that if you missed it, and then we'll definitely have her on for another episode in the future. But is that you want to give her the Cliff Notes, Judge?
Sure. So let's see. I was in the Air Force. Well, it was college, of course. I left college to join the Air Force because my mom was always telling me what to do, bossing me around. So I went to a place where you're uniquely on your own, in charge of your own destiny. The United States Air Force. Then I spent 7 months in the first Gulf War. Got out, went to law school, sold my house, quit my job, and I was a prosecutor for 8 years, and now I've been a judge for 8 years. I have a regular court, of course, that has all felonies. In addition to that, I have a veterans court on the side and a mental health court on the side. So I do a lot of stuff.
I would love to connect with you offline.
Surely.
So I will hit you up.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a great point, actually. So who all here has social media that we can put on the screen if people want to connect?
Follow me on Twitter, y'all. Jeria.
What's your Twitter, Jeria? Spell it out for me.
Jeria.
Jereye.
It's spelled like Jeria, and people always think my name is Jeria. But I did that so my mom couldn't find me in high school.
That's good.
Oh, that's so good.
Zee, where can people find and follow you?
I am on Instagram. You can look me up, Zee Johnson, or you can look up my handle. It's Z_Batteria, BATERIA.
First of all, let me stop you real quick. How many E's did you put in Z on Instagram? Is it 2 or 1?
2 E's. 2 E's.
2 E's _
Batteria, BATERIA.
BETERIA
_Johnson.
You didn't put a lot of letters in this.
I was feeling myself. If I had any sense, I would have changed it a long time ago. I didn't know Instagram would be what it is today. Now I can't change it. It's attached to a lot of endorsements. So I have to keep it the same now. I'm stuck. But I like being stuck. I like being stuck, committed to something. So yeah. That's
Chris,
how you can find me.
How do we find you?
Usually I'm hanging out on PlayStation, playing Tekken, giving people the business in Tekken. I'm an unstoppable Steve Fox main. I like boxing, so you can find me there. Sometimes you'll find me in Michael Bland's or Dan Spiffy Newman's comment section, trying to spit hot fire, trying to sound cool. I'm not that cool. Listen, Instagram, it ain't it for me. Like, I'm not the one. No, I'm not.
Me neither.
Okay. How do we find you?
Hit me up on Facebook. Hit me up on Facebook. I go to Facebook jail once every 3-4 weeks for using the term white trash. I can't help it. They bust me for that 5-6 times in the past year. I promise you. I use that term and they kick me off time and time. Most of the time I'm on play.
The white guy.
What is your name on Facebook so people can find you? It's not that complicated.
Chris Lundholm. But you can call me Chris Lundholm. That's what I go by on Facebook. But they used to call me the deal.
Spell your last name for the people.
Oh, sorry. Okay, it's the common spelling of Lundholm, which is Swedish for Island of the Trees. LUNDHOLM.
You're my favorite.
With an umlaut on the U.
Umlaut.
Tell me if I spelled it correctly, because it's way harder than it needs to be.
You got it, bro. Listen, you can find me. Most of the time I'm playing Tekken. But if I'm not, come at me, bro. I'll pray for you. I'll lay hands on you. We'll figure this out. We're going to get through this as a family. You know what I mean? You can come at me. See, that's right. Hey, listen, you're right. I'm not trying to be found. Listen, the IRS, they're coming after me. I don't want the IRS to find me, so let's not worry about that right now.
The judge is covering her ears.
Yeah, don't you worry about that. Keep the feds off my back, Judge. I thought we'd be cool like that.
Chris, you're a white man. I'm sure you're safe.
You'll be fine, Chris.
Good. Thank God. Thank God.
Judge, how do people find you?
So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. On Facebook, of course, it's your face and my name, Dominique Collins. A judge page and a personal page. Either one's fine. On Instagram and Twitter, it's DOMJD04. If you think it's a weird
Hold on a
thing.
second. I'm still typing the Facebook one. I'm trying to. Okay, what's on Instagram?
DOMJD04, as in Dominique got her Juris Doctorate in 2004.
Okay.
Cool. That's cool.
That's where I am. And if anybody's in Dallas, you're always welcome to come to court. We're actually open to criminal courts. Come on in there to the Frank Crowley Courts building and say what's up.
That's pretty cool. And I'm assuming they're doing all the distancing and the masks and everything like that.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's far away from each other. We can only have about 16 people in the courtroom at one time. I'm about 20 feet from any person, so we're being safe in there.
It is. We do. I know Maiya's Maiya's in Dallas, right? Or is she in Houston? I'm mixing up all the Texas cities.
I don't know because I met her through a friend here, another AKA.
Okay, so we got an Austinite here, and I know Zee's you're near Houston, right, Zee?
I'm near Houston. I'm about 30 miles away. I'm in the Woodlands technically right now, so Montgomery, Texas.
They have a mental hospital that does not cure people. Well, I know that because I used to be the mental health DA, and we send people to the hospital over there, and they wouldn't get fixed. They take our money and send them back still sick, very unwell.
Yeah, they're mostly my neighbors, so that's real fun.
Oh, I bet when they get loose and say, huh?
They do.
So Maiya, if you go visit Judge Collins, then you need to film it, and we'll throw that on the air or something. We'll figure out some way. Go live or something. We want to see that. We want to see the MUSiPOLiTiX / Be a Possibility / we want to see that meetup.
Oh yeah.
Jenna, whose Twitter were you asking for? We'll give her time to reply. I lost track of everything once Chris got started.
Sorry.
You can't let the white man throw you off track, Dan Spiffy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's two white guys.
I'm white.
So
I am white. Shoot. I didn't even know.
Who you calling white?
I was like, Brad, wait. Oh, you should have told me. Oh, doggone it. You should have told me beforehand, brother.
Serious?
Doggone it, brother. Told me.
Okay. So Judge Collins, do you have a Twitter? That's what she's asking.
Oh yes, it's also Dom JD04 at the Twitter. That's it. Yeah.
Let me just put it up there. So let's talk a little bit about what we got coming up for the next few weeks. And what does everybody think about MUSiPOLiTiX Classic? I think these are so much fun. I hope we keep doing these because I loved having multiple people come today and just hang out, and there's no pressure to talk about anything specific. And I'm so happy with the people that chose to drop in. Are you guys having a good time?
Oh man, I had a ball, man. I
love this Brady Bunch thing.
This was awesome.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
So I'm not trying to wrap us up on time. I know Michael always wants us to. I'm not trying to say we have to stop at 9. I'm just trying to make sure we have the option to stop at 9.
Well, you already a minute and 12 seconds over.
Tell Kim to bring you your dinner so you can stop complaining.
You already did. This is a matter of ethics. This is a matter of discipline.
What kind of plans you got today, Michael?
Oh, it's you know what she made? It's like kind of like a bulgogi, but it's with mushrooms.
Ooh,
yum.
And shallots and something else in there. I mean, it's not. There's no meat. It's just vegetables in the same kind of sauce that you would put bulgogi in.
It's rice.
Some lettuce and some rice. I mean, it's delicious. So
with gochujang, the Korean barbecue sauce. Gochujang.
Yes.
I don't even know, man. Whatever it is, it's good.
I got you.
So we've talked a lot on the show about Michael's plant-based diet. Have you noticed the difference? Like, are you feeling more energy, or are you
almost too much? It's really strange, man, because it's like it takes me longer to unwind now. I got a lot of energy and not a whole lot to do, so it's my mind is just I was working on quieting my mind, which was easier before because my body was somewhat a bit more sluggish, so it's that's the main thing I've noticed is just that my mind power is increasing, but I don't know what to do with it yet.
That's good.
It's a lot of watching Frasier from 1 o'clock in the morning till Lucy comes on at 4 o'clock in the morning.
We got to talk about, because your show was canceled, but we have the judge here because who was your favorite divorce court judge?
Oh, Judge Lynn. Yeah, Judge
Lynn. Have you seen Roland? What's his name? Roland Will or somebody on Judge Lynn Toller?
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you something about this guy. He's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, I like Judge Lynn, but that Judge Faith came on, and I think the show is canceled now. I've been watching for a couple of days looking for it, but I don't think Judge Faith was able to handle it.
Judge Toller is amazing. I'm gonna send you this thing, and you're gonna die laughing. Like, I can't talk about it right here, right now. All right. But I'm gonna send you the clip I'm talking about.
Okay. Yes, definitely. But that used to be my 11 o'clock in the morning jam. Oh, divorce court's coming on. I gotta get off the phone.
It's true. He's telling the truth.
That's good. That's good.
So, let me just real quick talk about what we got coming up. and then we can talk about Judge Judy and everything else. But that's another thing Michael and I have in common is we do love the court shows. Although I like different ones than he likes. I like the People's Court. That's how I learned to win my civil cases. Is I actually watching
TV.
Yeah, you're watching for a different kind of education. See, I'm interested in conflict resolution. You're interested in, you can sue somebody for that.
Judge Millian is fine though. I'm going to be honest with you. Judge Millian is all right with me. I like her.
Yeah,
she makes my blood sugar jump up. She makes my big toe shoot up into my boot.
That's your type.
I like her. My
be careful.
Judge Millian.
Don't watch that.
My big toe shoot up in my boot.
Made my big toe shoot up into my boot. That's I can't help it.
We gotta be careful letting Chris on the show, huh?
What is happening?
So
Chris is
wilding out.
super spicy.
I'm just playing. Just trying to entertain.
Man.
Well,
what?
All good things there, Dan Spiffy Neuman.
Love you, Maiya.
I'm very excited about next week.
Yes, tell it.
Next week, we've had a lot of politicians and activists, and we've had a lot of musicians. But next week is our first comedian. And so that's going to be real interesting. She's a friend of my wife's, and my wife has been bugging me to have her on the show, which I don't want to make it sound like I didn't want to have her. I did. But like she comes with my wife's endorsement. So that should make it all the better.
Cool.
And I have no idea how it's going to go, what we're going to talk about, but I know it's going to be interesting. I know it's going to be a good time. I really want to have a strong audience for her. So everybody come back next week, share the promos, share the live video, comment. I want to see everybody in the comments next week. I'm real excited about this one.
What's her name?
Her name is, I should have said that. Her name is comedian Abby Crutchfield. She's been on Colbert, Kimmel, all of those type of shows. And so that's going to be a real interesting episode. I'm really excited about that one. And then for the next 2 weeks, we have the second and third part in our series that Judge Collins started, which is Black woman politicians from around the country. We have Representative Sheila Stubbs from right here in Wisconsin. And then I believe she's also from Dallas, Representative Jasmine Crockett. She was on the same panel that I found you on.
Mm-hmm.
And they were my two favorites on that panel so I stole them from Maiya. Okay, my wife just commented, Abby also hosted a show on True TV. And that'll take us right up into November 3rd, election night. Michael, what do we have going on election night?
Well, you got it, Toyota. Soul Asylum in its entirety. Dave, Ryan, Jeremy, and myself. Election night. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but it could be anything. But it's election night with Soul Asylum. Yes.
Cool.
That's cool.
That's real cool.
Something you just said made the device that plays music thought she heard her name. I don't want to say her name again. She just started playing music in the background.
Siri just
the other one. I don't want to. Don't say her name. She'll start doing stuff.
Runs all the.
But so for those who don't know, Soul Asylum is the band that Michael is currently a touring and studio member of, and the music for, and has been for what, 15 years now?
15, at least.
So if you are a fan of Michael Bland, or if you are a fan of any of the artists that Michael Bland has worked with, then Soul Asylum, if you're not familiar, should be somebody that you're interested in, because this is his current musical family.
Well,
and they're all very interesting people to talk to. So it's going to be a fun night.
Not only that, I mean, Dave Pirner, one of the last living great American songwriters, easily. And also, I mean, you're talking about a person whose entire canon is predicated on the disenfranchised, outsiders. Like, all his music is about people who have been marginalized, more or less. I mean, in a lot of ways, I mean, he's more like Bob Dylan's son than Bob Dylan's son artistically. Like he really has a specific sort of viewpoint on the world that he through his music. So he always has he always has something to say about something, and he's a very insightful and a delight to talk to, and a person who's easy to love. So we're gonna have a good time.
In answer to some of the questions, we may watch the election in real time, or we may not. We may talk about the election, or we may talk about some completely unrelated, kind of, because we don't know what's gonna. And Jeria can give us.
I see you, Jeria. Yeah, I was gonna you get to speak.
Don't watch it because they just want y'all for views. We in Wisconsin, we're the tipping point state, and people their ballots can be returned up to November 9th. So, like, seriously, we won't know until at least the week after.
So you meant that earlier when you said it.
Yeah, like I wasn't joking. Like election day is a day where people go vote in person, but like with the influx of absentee ballots, they're going to be counted for a long time.
All right, good advice.
That's good to know.
We'll talk about bowling.
I didn't. Thank you.
Plus the court cases that might result from your president, Jeria.
Listen, this is my advice. If you trust the absentee ballot, fill it out black ink, return it today, return it immediately. If you don't trust the mail system, drop it off at a drop box. There are drop boxes everywhere. You can also early vote. In Wisconsin, early voting starts on the 20th. That's also Kamala's birthday. It's good luck. Or you can vote in person on the 3rd, but just vote.
Well, I don't know if we lost the judge or if she said
she had to jump off. She did this.
Sent the message she has to jump off. So that's probably, I guess, as good a time. Any, I wanted to ask everybody, including her, if they wanted to wrap up with anything, but we'll get her on another day. Jeria, Zee, Chris, you want to wrap up with anything? Anything you guys didn't cover that you want to say? Actually, maybe not Chris. Chris is already.
You don't want to love with you.
Good.
You don't want to let Chris.
Pleasure. It was such a pleasure. Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate you.
Hey, Chris, get at me anytime, man. Really. Catch me on Facebook. Like, inbox me, man. We can chit-chat. I'll tell you whatever you want to know.
Cool, man.
Anybody else too, if you want. I mean,
Chris, inbox me too, so I can get you signed up for a volunteer shift.
I appreciate all of you. I learned a lot from each one of you tonight, and like I receive your advice humbly and respectfully, Jeria. That's good. That's good. I hear you.
Again, anybody that's watching, I know Zee said she had some people that are watching. If you are a fan of Michael Bland, he is not kidding. He is responsive when people reach out to him on social media. I don't want to say he doesn't mind. Maybe he minds. Maybe it depends what kind of mood he's in. But if Michael Bland is somebody you want to talk to, he's accessible. He's right there.
Yeah, I won't. If I'm in, if my head's a mess, I'm not going to address anybody then. I'll wait until I don't want to be, I'll pick the right moment. I will.
But don't be scared to reach out to Michael. Is the point? If you're a fan of Michael, he's there. And you can always talk to him on Tuesday nights too. We all read the comments, even the ones that don't make it on the screen. So you want to talk to Michael? There he is, right there. So, on that note, Michael, anything you want to wrap up with?
No, I just, you know what? I'll just say this. I watched a movie today called My Octopus Teacher. Just random pick on Netflix. And I'm not afraid to admit it. It made me cry. It's this incredible film about this guy, a South African guy, who befriends this octopus in the ocean. And he's either a videographer or a photographer or something. And just the story of this dude's relationship with this octopus is crazy to me. I mean, I didn't start eating a plant-based diet because I was compassionate about animals or anything like that. That's not really it. It was strictly about nutrition and also about ceasing to eat things that are dead. So it's counterintuitive to think you can live on dead things. That's all. And once I made that revelation, I couldn't really turn back. But we don't think about animals as having, like critical thinking skills, or like that they think, or that they're conscious. Some people don't. But that's the one thing that I did learn about watching this movie, about this octopus, that they can strategize and plan ahead and remember things. And like, it's not, life is life. Life is incredible everywhere, in all ways, shapes, and forms. And I know my wife is probably laughing at me on the inside for a story I told her about. I was washing my face in the basin in the bathroom, and there was this little baby spider walking along, and I just kind of pushed it over gently into the sink. But the bigger spider came out after, and I tried to do the same thing with that one, and I smashed it, and I just felt bad about it.
Yeah,
I felt bad about it, man, and I don't know what it is I'm necessarily becoming, but I'm, I can feel that my consciousness is ascending into a place where a lot of people are not going to understand where I'm at, and that's all right. Not everybody's supposed to get you, but I've always had not a fascination, but I mean, I'm a Christian, but there's a lot of similar principles between Buddhism and Christianity. And some people say that during the lost years that Jesus actually studied with the Buddha. But so, it's I'm not saying I'm changing gods or anything, or any equivalent of that, but my consciousness towards my environment, and it also taught me about having a knee-jerk reaction to things that happen. Like had I been more careful, I could have just I was shocked. I'm like, oh, and I just smashed the thing, this living, breathing, animated thing, and I just felt bad about it all night. Yeah. And I don't know what that makes me, but other than just regretful that I didn't handle it a different kind of way. And watching this movie about this octopus, it just shook me, man. I don't know. You see it for yourself. It's if you have Netflix. And decide then whether I'm crazy or not. And on that note, may the Lord watch.
Standing all over the building. Standing all over the building.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know that.
I mean, I saw when you posted about that earlier. I definitely want to see it, although I clearly have to be in the right mood before I watch it, because
maybe I wasn't in a particular headspace right before. I was like, whoa, I wonder what this is about. I'm sick of watching what's that show? Schitt's Creek. Watching that.
That's a good show. I love that show.
I'm getting it, and I watch it when there's nothing else to watch, but I just got to put out of it right now.
Y'all are not real fans of that show. You have to be a fan of that show when it was on a network that nobody knows the name of, and it wasn't cool. And now Netflix bought it, and they're ruining it. So that's interesting. But anyway.
But I guess we must have lost Jeria.
We did. She had to go.
That's all right. We love you, Jeria. Thank you for popping in.
Yeah.
Chris Lundholm, it's been a distinct pleasure getting to know both of you a little bit better. And we are your friends and allies now. So whatever you need help with, or whatever we need help with, that you can and help that you can provide, or help that we can
always
provide. Don't hesitate to ask. We are here for you.
I appreciate that deeply. I received that so much. Thank you for that. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
Dan, wrap it up.
Okay. Well, anybody who does, I'm going to make it a point to watch the Octopus movie. Anybody else, come back and comment somewhere that Michael and I can see it and let us know. Because I definitely, if it affected Michael in that way, then I want to know how it's affecting other people. And we'll talk about something. Maybe when we have the environmentalists on. We were going to have some environmentalists on later this year or next year. So I'll shut up.
Will you really?
Well, you caught me off guard with the octopus movie. I wasn't expecting to go there. And I mean, it's you dropped a lot of things there, because I mean, this is the year I was visited by death, and so I have to be in a certain headspace before I watch emotional stuff, and but I agree with you. Like, that's one of the things that I learned from my dad is he would take time out to build relationships with the animals in his backyard. He was that guy,
So this is moving you a little bit. I got you.
I get it, but I'm still a little surprised that you were guilty about killing the spider.
Listen. If I may, real fast before we're done, I saw that movie with Brad Pitt, where he goes to Nepal, and they build the temple, and the Buddhists move the worms out of the dirt before they're about to build the temple.
Wow.
And that touched my heart so deeply. It's funny you just bring that up. Like, I haven't killed a spider since I was like 19 years old. And like the only animals that I feel comfortable eliminating their lives are the ones who take our like a mosquito or like a parasite or something that's trying to get us.
Sure.
But I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. Like, I don't kill spiders anymore. I haven't killed spiders for a long time because life is
crazy,
life.
man. It's all right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you on that, man. That's a word, and that's a real vibe. Like, you think about these things now, and I respect that. I respect that a lot. It's a good look.
Right. That's a good look. Put it out there.
That's a good look. No, I hear that.
I think that when you're aware of what's around you, because I noticed that too after this quarantine, because I'm in Texas, we were locked down for a good almost 2 months. You really do notice life, and it's from the solitude. I honestly think you really do just have a better self-awareness that you are not the only thing that matters to you.
Right.
So I think that's a self-awareness thing. It's not even about animals. It's just about being aware of yourself, being aware of your body and your mental, where you are, and what contributes to you being you.
Yes, I realize that's an area that I like. I have mastered a lot in my life, but that's one thing I have not yet.
Mm-hmm.
How to handle a situation with a living thing who's encroaching on my territory, but that doesn't mean that they don't have a right to live.
Right.
It was a teachable moment, but I got big hands. And you play drums. It's kind of like when your hands go to work, they go to work.
Yeah.
So, how to be careful, how to be more graceful, and considerate in my motion and what I'm doing. Yeah.
Like that.
All right, Dan, you gonna benedict us or not?
Yeah, that's a pretty good mic drop moment right there. All right. So, although I wouldn't want to hurt any microphones either. So, hopefully,
very droll.
Hopefully, when the next time we have a MUSiPOLiTiX Classic, hopefully a lot of these same people and more will drop back in. I'll make sure that Zee and Chris get the invite the next time we do this, because I loved this tonight. I thought this was so great. Thank you so much, everybody that's been here tonight, everybody that's been in the comments. We love you. We will see you next week. Make sure you're here next week for comedian Abby, and all the way through November 3rd, and then we'll figure out what's our plan after that. Thanks for watching.
Appreciate you.
All right now.
Peace.
Peace.